Hey guys, welcome back to Ashley's Homestead Adventures. We are in the groom shop this morning and Bossy is getting a bath. So Bossy goes to the vet tomorrow to get her teeth cleaned, and so we are giving her a bath today to get her all cleaned up and ready for her teeth cleaning. She has had her bath and now we are just going to get her dry and get her toenails trimmed. Okay, let's get her dry. Stay there for a second. First things first, stay. Okay. Let's do clear today. Oh, why? Good Lord. You're not supposed to shake. Thank God you didn't lose them. They're not on there yet, sweetie. Alright, that's not terrible. Let's toenails trimmed. Good job. Back ones. News. Alright. And you're all ready to go in and have your teeth cleaned. Yeah. Alright. Let's go get a snack. So lots to catch you up on. First thing is, yes, I did go to the vet with Bossy. Yes, she did get her teeth cleaned. I will put some clips in here. Finally feeling good enough to eat her pup cup. We have been absent because she has demanded a lot of time. It took her a few days to pull through, but she is now back to her normal self and out checking on the chickens and doing farm dog stuff. So happy to report that, but it was a little rough this time. We had 3 teeth extracted. she had, they were all in the front area, so nothing too terrible. But it took her some time to bounce back this time. So there's that. And now I am in the farm kitchen and I am making dog food. So before I flip you around and show you all of this, I will let you know that I have prepped a lot of this. This is actually my second day in working on making dog food. So I had 2 crock pots and a roaster going. I cooked 5 chickens that I butchered. Then we had some bass in the freezer that hadn't been used, and then we had some oxtail in the freezer that hadn't been used. And so this is a combination of chicken, beef, and fish. And once the meat cooked, then I took the meat out, took it off the bone, and then put all of the meat in one bowl, put the bones in a completely different bowl and discarded those. And then I put all the broth in a different bowl and let it go in the fridge overnight. And then I skimmed all the fat off of the top of the broth in the morning, and then proceeded to put together my batches of dog food. The rice cooker is open behind me. You can see I had to make some rice. I use brown rice for the carbohydrate in my dog's food. My dogs just do the best with brown rice. We have tried lentils, we have tried legumes, beans, black beans, pinto beans, garbanzo beans, navy beans, butter beans, barley, oats. My dogs do fine with oats. I just don't like cooking with oats because, like oatmeal, they get really cakey and it just turns into like a sticky paste. I really like the brown rice, and we do brown rice and white rice, but primarily I just like to use the brown rice. I feel like it's just got more nutrients in it. And so right now I'm just steaming down some vegetables, and those are, this time, sweet potatoes, carrots, and celery. So, anywho, this is the broth and the meat that is left. I have already made 1 full 10-pound batch, so this is about 7 pounds of meat and broth. And then over here I'm just finishing cutting up the sweet potatoes, and there is sweet potatoes and celery and oh, I forgot to add an apple. I'm gonna add an apple to this in here, and carrots. And I've just been cooking it in the broth, which I now notice that in talking to you I have not added more and it's sticking, so I need to add more broth. Ooh, that's hot. Deglaze my pan a little bit. It got a little sticky. I don't use oil or butter, obviously, when I'm cooking for my dogs, so. And it would have been completely fine had I not gotten distracted making my intro. Would have been fine, but it's okay. Ain't nothing a little elbow grease can't fix. All right. And now I am actually gonna add a pound of this rice to this batch. So I've just tared out my scale after I put the rice on there. And now I'll just go until I am minus 1 pound. So in my dog food batches, my short version of my recipe is 7 pounds of meat, 1.5 pounds of vegetables, 1 pound of carbohydrate, and 1/2 pound of organ meat. That is what works for my dogs. And I have to put in here, I'm not a veterinarian. I am not putting this, I'm putting this out there to encourage you to home cook for your dogs, but of course, speak to your veterinarian before you do it. Before the, being left-handed sometimes really sucks. Before the dog food police come after me. It's amazing to me. Isn't it amazing how worked up some people can get? I'm always super shocked when I post something on, Facebook or something like that, how, somebody can come on and be like, that's not this, or that's too much of this. It's amazing to me how people can be so literal. It's like, loosen up, folks. I'm just showing people what works for me and my dogs. And I mean, I have 5 dogs, and this recipe has worked for, I don't know, 7 years for my dogs. Now, of course, there's a lot of, if I were making a dog food video, there's a lot of things that go along with it. Like, it's very important to remove all of the fat that you possibly can. We don't want to feed our dogs really fatty food. Their pancreases can't handle it. We don't want to feed our dogs things that are excessively high in sodium, sugar. I don't feed my dogs really any sugar that's not natural sugar. Fruit sugar. The apple has some sugar in it, but my dogs don't get sweets per se. They don't. The only processed food that they get is they get their kibble, which we feed kibble with home cooked. We're not just home cooked people. We're not just kibble people. We do home cook when we can for our dogs, but we don't always have it. So FYI, for those of you who are wondering, yes, it is really hard to keep home cooked food for 5 dogs. I don't full time. It's just pert near, not impossible, but I would almost need to have a crock pot going all of the time. And it is, for me, it's impossible without using meat that we want to save for us in the freezer. We've just gotten our freezers full for us, and we've not started like replenishing those freezers. So we haven't started like replenishing our old meat with new meat because I'm here 6 months out of the year by myself, so we're kind of like just keeping what we have in the freezer stocked, and we're not really raising meat at the moment. But it is something that we are going to continue to do in the future. We love to raise lamb, turkey, beef. on a very small scale for just for us. And at that point, then we will start replacing the old stuff with the new stuff, and the old stuff will go to dog food. But at this point, we don't have any new stuff to kick out the old stuff out of the freezers, so I don't have to make these big batches of dog food. What triggered this big batch was I actually had some people donate some meat to me when they were cleaning out their freezers. So of course it's hunting season right now, and a lot of people are emptying out their freezers to put their, you know, their deer in that they get. And then some of them have just gotten, you know, new beef for the year. And so they have called and asked me if I would like the old. And so that prompted me to clear some freezer space and make a great big batch of dog food. This particular batch there is a chicken heart harvested from our chickens. So there's hearts and livers from our chickens that we butchered here on our farm. So pretty much all of the meat in these is either caught by us or friends or community members that give it to us, or meat that we grow here on our farm, or is grown on neighboring farms from our neighbors. So in this particular batch, this is all chicken and beef that we grew here, and then fish. There is some fish in here that one of our neighbors caught that I did not get around to cooking and for ourselves, and it got freezer burned. So it goes to the dogs. They like it too. So out of the 1 package of oxtail, it was just a small package of fish, and the 5 chickens, I ended up making 2 10-pound batches of dog food, which will last me for, right now I only have 4 dogs here because Miss Eppie is in Oregon. That will last me for about 3 weeks. Usually one of these containers lasts about 5 days, but it lasts a little bit longer without Miss Eppie here. So there is that. So these will go out to the fridge in the shop. I'm going to go ahead and get this rice put into baggies to put in the freezer for future batches of dog food, because this is the brown dog rice. And I do cook this, when I cook this in my rice cooker, I do cook it with bone broth that I have made strictly for dogs. The difference in between the dog bone broth and our bone broth is, if we get like a grass-fed cow, my husband and I do not like the taste of grass-fed beef. We are grain-finished beef eaters. And so if we get somebody that gives us some grass-fed beef, we will turn that into dog food, and then we use the bones to make bone broth for the dogs, and we label it dog. The other big difference is that we do not salt it, and a lot of times I don't season it. If I do season it, I season it with the herbs that are safe to use for the dogs. We don't put onions or garlic in with the bone broth like we do for our own bone broth. So we actually make bone broth for the dogs and bone broth for us, and can it separately and label it so that when I do make batches of dog food, for instance, in this batch of dog food, I used 3 quarts of bone broth, dog bone broth, that we had canned, I think, last year. So again, just set my scale to, I tared it out to where it says 0, and then I will know when I have a pound in my bag, because the scale will say -1 pound. Which is pretty much exactly what it's gonna do. It usually makes 2 batches and then like 9/10 of a batch, but it actually looks like this time I added in those extra 50 kernels. And we made 3 these will go in the freezer for future batches. And now I am going to clean up my kitchen a little bit because it looks like a bomb went off in here. Brain fart. Do you guys ever have those moments where you're just like, huh? What was I doing? Well, if you haven't, you will. Age does not help us. Well, that is much, much better, and it's on to the next adventure of the day for me. I hope you guys are having a great day, and thanks for coming along with me for a little update on Bossy and some dog food. Just a little bit of what I'm doing today. I hope you guys are having a great day. I'll catch you on the next one. Yours truly.